An intruder at the home of the U.S. National Security Advisor has renewed scrutiny of the U.S. Secret Service at a time of increased threats against public figures. Before that intrusion, Adriana Diaz sat down with Secret Service Director Kim Cheatle. This is her first network TV interview since taking over 8 months ago, and they met at a Secret Service facility outside Washington.
At the Secret Service Training Center, drivers show us how they work.
So this would be if you're running away from something in traffic?
Well, this could be to get out of the area. Maybe the motorcade's under attack.
Whoa!
To protect the president.
So we're going to get out of here in a hurry.
Okay, we're at a roadblock right now.
There we go, back
With
up.
maneuvers like J-turns.
About face and keep it moving.
Now! By the warning!
Nearby, officers trained to take down a would-be White House fence jumper.
You're on the ground!
But in this empty field, there's no real fence.
So this bike rack is how you do your White House fence training?
Yeah, this bike rack is a representation of what we have as the north fence line downtown.
And the White House?
The White House is the trees you see back there.
Sergeant Darian Null says his officers have to use their imagination, running through trees as if they were rooms in the White House.
How much of a disadvantage is that from a training perspective?
It could be a huge disadvantage.
Secret Service Director Kim Cheatle agrees.
One of your predecessors said training without a White House replica is like training for a basketball game without hoops.
Absolutely. I think you wouldn't ask your Super Bowl champs to go out and train in a parking lot.
That's why she wants Congress to fund a replica White House for training.
Your team has gone to an unusual place as part of the research on how to build a mock White House. I'm thinking about a Hollywood-related place.
They visited Tyler Perry's production studios in Atlanta, which has a replica White House.
He was gracious enough to allow us to take a tour of it.
Did it feel like the White House?
It did.
She would know. The 28-year veteran was on the team that evacuated Vice President Dick Cheney on 9/11, and she served on then Vice President Biden's protective detail. He named her director in mid-2022. Amid a swirl of controversy over the agency deleting nearly all of its text messages from January 6th. The agency says that was due to a data migration.
System migrations happen, but I think for a lot of Americans, it just doesn't pass the smell test, given the timing and the volume of messages deleted.
Well, it's unfortunate that that would be the assumption that people would make. Our integrity is everything, and there was nothing nefarious attached to that.
Their integrity has been put to the test, not only by the mishap at the National Security Advisor's home, but by misconduct over the years, including off-duty agents hiring sex workers in Colombia before an Obama trip and a drunken altercation in South Korea last year.
We've implemented a number of things previous to me becoming the director, and then continuing as I've been the director. I've made sure that the workforce knows that misconduct won't be tolerated. We ensure that there's a full investigation that's taken place whenever there is an allegation. If we need to put a person on admin leave or revoke their security clearance, we'll do that.
Another challenge, recruitment and retention, something all law enforcement is struggling with. But the Secret Service's departure rate was 48% last year, due in part to the high demands of the job. To expand hiring, they're aiming to have 30% women recruits by 2030, and even allowed YouTube influencer Michelle Carre to train with agents.
But I'm very conscious, as I sit in this chair now, of making sure that we need to attract diverse candidates and ensure that we are developing and giving opportunities to everybody in our workforce, and particularly women.
That workforce will be pivotal for the 2024 campaign season, which for the first time includes a former president who already has lifetime protection. Agents were there when Donald Trump was arraigned in New York.
We were able to work out the details ahead of time of how that particular day was going to go, but we will always ensure the safety of all of our protectees that we have.
The service has a zero-fail mission, a mission officers are training to uphold, pretending this field is the most famous address in America. For CBS Mornings, I'm Adriana Diaz in Laurel, Maryland.
Well, the Secret Service has had some missteps recently,
Yeah.
but what we know about them is they are really dedicated men
course.
and women to doing that job. I think it's a hard job to do, and they work
Yes.
very, very hard.
With zero fail is a hard standard to meet as
Exactly.
well. I think they have a point about training with no White House to train in, no
Exactly.
replica.
Of course.
to model their actions on.
I love that they reached out to Tyler Perry. I have been to that Replica, and I'm telling you, it's spot. Yeah, I have.
Well,
it's spot on.
We should tell the viewers that while the piece was rolling,
on.
you're here off camera being like, they should talk to Tyler Perry.
That's exactly what happened. And then the next line was Tyler Perry.
We called Tyler Perry.
48% departure rate. That number is shocking, but then when you think about the demands on this job, I mean, you're literally putting your life on the line every time you step out your front door.
It's that zero fail, Tony, that got me. You'd want to train?
I would love to. Yeah, let's set that up. I would love to feel that intensity. I've always thought that that's one of the most dangerous jobs in America.
At any moment.